instead of putting everything in string.
Oh, really?
He fixes, it's called something.
Yeah.
Shade.
My mommy makes them like that too.
That's good
Oh,
food.
we had meatloaf, mashed potatoes, cornbread, and sugar.
Oh, she's gonna make us hungry, ain't she?
What I was raised on.
All the time, you tell me behind it.
Mashed potatoes and soup beans and cornbread. Lord.
You got anybody to help you eat it?
Well, Kyle is a big deal. He's a big man.
Okay.
He's 6'4", about 120-some pounds.
My mommy cooks like that, and she don't have nobody to eat, so she ends up feeding her dogs.
You know, people that age, they know what they went through, and you know.
Yeah.
I like to eat myself. I just like to eat out all the time.
Hi. How are you?
Just your dog sit down here.
Oh, hey. You doing okay? I'm. Yeah.
Your name Lucy.
They say you have that one that you cannot be in any serious thing.
Is it? You gonna get us in trouble over here, ain't you?
Zippy. We don't allow walk-ins in the funeral home.
You come over here, you'll get in trouble.
But he was home all day. Yeah.
Well, I bought Elijah's house, Elijah Johnson's
Oh,
house.
did you?
Yeah, so we've been up there since he passed away. Right across the street from all this mess.
Lige is my best friend.
I love Lige.
We worked together in all them years at coal mine. Lord, I know him since I was a little young boy.
You need to join the Jenkins after you.
I would, if you'll have me, I'd absolutely love it.
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday.
That's the only reason. Because it's the second Tuesday.
I'm more $10 off there.
She'd get it to you in a heartbeat.
Why didn't you sit behind me? Let me see your arm.
I told him we'd find him a mirror that said how good looking he was. He's got us all giggling back here. We'll have to get serious.
I better calm down.
We'll all get in trouble.
Boy, I tell you, that's something.
That's my backyard. My neighbor took it over
That's something.
and refuses to move any of it.
Is that right?
He got a letter. The lawyer said he's got 30 days to move all that stuff off the property, or it will go to the new owner. Well, if I touch it, he's liable to shoot me.
Yeah, that's right.
Same.
Like, do you know the spider? Oh yeah, the spider. Wait, do you know statue? No. Oh, there's one.
Craig.
Yes. That's my name.
You want that to it?
You could do that so cool. If I could use this BNT,
I love her. She is. She treats me really nice. Even if she don't know it, she's real nice too. She was to me.
Well, she always has. Always has.
They're good, no doubt. That's perfect.
Your hiring place, won't you put your application in?
You found me out here.
Mayor's already took, so
There's a chair right there, you can pull it up.
There's more women interested in this than other yeah, but she got that
Yeah, in the packet, that one big one's got me on there, but I don't know why.
I saw that, I thought, well, they put the wrong one.
That's fine. No, the one in the packet is just for, you know, see everything. It's $13 or $14 million.
Yes, Alice. That's them. Or that's one of them anyway.
Thank you.
True.
And Craig and this, but until we get done with your all stuff, y'all.
She done live on YouTube.
Well, that's all right.
Head of the game.
We'll start at 6, we'll start at 6. Alrighty, I want to welcome everybody to the November 11th, 2024 City of Jenkins Council meeting. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Ernestine. Here. Chuck.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Josh. Donnie.
Here. Alright, if you would stand and check the list of persons.
Dear Lord, just thankful that we gather here tonight to discuss the business of our city, and Lord, we just pray that as we have our discussions, we do so according to your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And would you join me for the pledge? Alrighty, now, I want to thank all the veterans that make it possible for us to do what we just did and be able to do what we're going to do going forward. Whoever served and when they served, if they're still serving, and the families of those that served, because I'm sure it's a worry for them to be out in the world and protecting our freedoms, so we'll thank them. Alrighty, in your package, you've got the October minutes.
I make a motion to approve this presented.
I'll say it. Having a motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Alrighty, also, you've got financial report for October in your packet.
I move that we approve it as presented.
Alright, having a motion second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Crab report.
You got a full house, I won't take up too much of your time tonight, Mayor. We just turned in 58 ARC applications in October. That's one of our biggest lenders for all of our projects around here in our whole service area. Several of those were for this, I have your packet here, I'm sorry, I didn't make it to you, but some did make it around. I personally turned in the wastewater treatment plant improvement, HB 723, which is for the matching funds, and that was approved. So we're still waiting to get the big bulk of that from ARC, but we're chipping away at it. We've got 3 different applications for that that are approved now. So that's good news. And we have several resolutions here for you tonight for Raven Rock, another one for the sewer I&I. Lisa's working her way through those Raven Rocks, and I'm working on that sewer I&I this month. So those are a little bit further down on your agenda, but those are all for us.
Okay, yeah, once we get them, we'll get that percentage.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. April's fantastic, so
Okay.
no worries. But that's pretty much it. So we're
Thanks for the
We're
update,
good.
and what she's talking about got approved, is the legislator has got a new program to work. We can take some state money and match federal money, which is a big deal for us, because if we've got 20,000, 40,000, whatever, it's hard for us to match, but
yeah.
you can apply the legislator, and we have to pay 2% of the total of our match, which makes it a lot more formal for us, but then we can leverage, instead of $100,000, we can leverage $1 million or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, the general ARC matches 20%. So if we put in for $1 million through ARC, you still have to find that $20,000 yourself. And the HB 723 is a state program that applies state funds to cover that matching amount. There's still a very small local match, but it's 1 to 2% of what you ask from the state instead of the 20% of the entire project cost. So it really lowers the out of cost for the city a lot. Jennifer also had a meeting with the legislators about that project because we are desperately trying to get them to cover that dam project. So they don't want to work with Army Corps of Engineers, it's not on one of their lists of approved people, and we're trying hard to get them to make an exception and put them on there. So we're still working on that one. I was excited to get the wastewater treatment plant, so we're still waiting for the big money from ARC, but
That's
we're
news to
working on
me,
it,
and I'm
so.
able to hear it, but
Yeah.
it is good the legislature put that in there, for some of their surplus money.
Yeah, it's a fantastic program. They're coming up to the end of it, and we're crossing our fingers that they do it again this second year. The first year, they gave us $20 million and said, see what you can do with this. The second year, they gave us $200 million and said, see what you can do with this. And by us, I mean the state, not just us. And we've worked our way through that 200 pretty fast, so we're hoping that they continue that again so that we can continue to get those match funds through the state. It would just make so many projects possible that would not otherwise be possible.
It is. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Have a good evening.
Already, Nelson.
So some of the things she touched on, the sewer and I, phase one, they were over budget, so they're still seeking additional funding. I think she mentioned there. The City Hall ADA improvements, design has been completed, and the KY HBC kits have been received, and the advertised for bid and open hopefully by the end of the year for that project.
I know it was moving because the state building inspector started out, when we was gonna get started.
Yeah. The City Hall roof and building improvements is still seeking funding with CRAD. The wastewater treatment plant expansion and replacement is waiting for approval to bid from the AML funding.
Okay.
The water line replacement phase 6 is still seeking funding, but the funding applications have been submitted on that project. The Grandview water and sewer extension is seeking funding. That's the same thing, though, the applications have been submitted for that as well.
You are both under the DW for phase 6.
And then water, or sewer I&I phase 2 still seeking funding. The city park renovations is seeking additional funding, but in project extension seeking, or the funding is secured. Preliminary design is started. So they're working on that.
All right, thanks for moving along.
So the question on the ADA improvements, is that ready to be advertised?
Let's see.
Second.
Advertising open. So yeah, probably the way they get it worded, it's.
We're waiting on final funding notification. It looks like it's gonna happen, but,
According to their update in the CRAD, it's funding's there.
Right there. And maybe right there on the line, if you know,
yeah, we've not got official notice.
official notice yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, we jumped all the hoops to get it, and they have to send that final letter saying, here's the money. Get a big blue check, and hopefully we don't have to wait a year to get going, because we've got everything lined up. Architecture, that work and stuff, and hopefully we get some good bids, and we'll have to go back and try to find a little more money here or there, but let's just make sure. Projects, we still got some extensions through 2026. Like where you're moving around the dam because of the engineering that's been done with it, we have to match what our engineers tell us with what mitigation measures we will come up with, because they talk about the geotech wall on the dam and later on in front of it. It's our actual fix, not something that we manage this. Take care of for a little while, but we're working through all that. We're also working with Smallwood Engineering on one part, and then we're also still trying to seek funding to do the match with Army Corps of Engineers. It's come up with $1.5 match to do their $3 million study to look at long term, but short term with the Smallwood or Snail Line. And so with their work, we're working on that part of it. There's a couple covers that needs black. So we got most of it done, but there's still some pieces left out. We were officially handed over from FEMA to the state, so all our bills will be directly with the state now. We don't have a program. It's time down, that's what that's there. That's the hurricane. Already, Raven Rock extension resolution.
Doesn't matter what order we do these in.
No, just,
I've got them separately numbered. Resolution 111124A, resolution of the City of Jenkins accepting the grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendment of the City of Jenkins annual budget, and authorizing a representative to sign all related documents. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has appropriated funds for infrastructure projects in House Bill 1 of the 2024 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly, and whereas the City of Jenkins, friends, the quote grantee, in quote, close friends, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system, friends, a quote project, in quote, close friends, semicolon. And whereas the grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, friends, the quote, authority, close friends, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into an assistance agreement, friends, the quote, agreement, close friends, with the authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Jenkins as follows. Section 1, the grantee is hereby accepts the grant award and approves agreements between the grantee and the authority to provide the necessary funds to the grantee for the project. That Mayor Todd D. Priest and any successor titles hereby designate to be the grantee's authorized official for this project, and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, related documents, and agreements, and to otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grant award and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include, by amendment to its annual budget and audit process, the receipts and expenditures of funds subject to the agreement up to and including the date of the project closeout. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law, adopted on this 11th day of November 2024, signature Mayor, attestation, whatever.
that should be the wastewater treatment plant repair project resolution. Second reading. Resolution second. So,
Make a motion to pass this resolution.
I'll second.
have a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Resolution 111124B, resolution of the City of Jenkins accepting the grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendment of the City of Jenkins annual budget, and authorizing the representative to sign all related documents. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has funds for the infrastructure projects in House Bill 1 of the 2024 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly, and whereas the City of Jenkins, friends, the quote grantee, close friends, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system, friends, the quote project, close friends, semicolon, and whereas the grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, friends, the quote authority, close friends, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant for the project and administered by the authority, grantees required to enter into an assistance agreement, the quote, agreement, in quote, close friends with the authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Jenkins as follows, Section 1, grantee hereby accepts and grants award and approves the agreement between the grantee and the authority to provide the necessary funds to the grantee for the project. Section 2, that Mayor Todd D. Priest and any successor entitled is hereby designated to be the grantee's quote, authorized official, end quote, for this project and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, related documents and agreements, and to otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grant award and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees to and commits to include by amendment to the annual budget and audit process the receipt and expenditures of funds subject to the agreement up to and including the date of project closeouts. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law, adopted on November 11, 2024. Signature line, Mayor, attestation, clerk.
All right, need a motion to approve.
What is this one for?
This one is, you've got 3. This will be Raven Rock Sewer Station.
I'll make a motion.
All right, having a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Now, we've got this one more time. Then we got a unique one after this.
Should drop popcorn. Resolution 111124C. Resolution of the City of Jenkins accepting the grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendment of the City of Jenkins annual budget and authorizing the representative to sign all related documents. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has appropriated funds for the infrastructure projects in House Bill 1 of the 2022 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the Cleaner Water Program, and whereas the City of Jenkins, friends, the quote grantee, close friends, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system. The project, close friends, semicolon, and whereas the grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, friends, the quote authority, close friends, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant from the Cleaner Water Program for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into an assistance agreement, friends, the quote agreement, close friends, with the authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Jenkins as follows. Section 1, that the grantee hereby accepts the grant, approves the agreement to provide the necessary funds to the grantee for the project. Section 2, that Mayor Todd D. Priest and successors entitled is hereby designated to be the grantee's quote authorized official, end quote, for the project and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement related documents and agreements and otherwise act to effect such grant award and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include by amendment to its annual budget and audit process the receipts and expenditures of the funds to the agreement up to and including the date of the project closing. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law, adopted on November 11th, 2024. Signature line, Mayor, attestation, clerk.
Already, that's the police corner treatment center project resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Got a motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, last resolution, this is for the sewer out project, and it is a little bit different, so. I'm gonna go On this one, Randall, we numbered it 11-4-24.
Yeah, I got that. It should be 11-11.
Okay. 24 D.
Well, it's gonna be no,
Oh.
no alphabet beside it. Yeah. Authorizing resolution 11-11-24, City of Jenkins Sewer I&I project. Adoption of a resolution of the City of Jenkins, parens quote entity, close parens, authorizing the completion and filing of a government resource acceleration needed transfer, parentheses, GRANT, close parens, program of 2024 project, application for up to $304,845 in grant program of 2024 funds with the Cabinet for Economic Development, parens quote, CED, close parens, semicolon, authorizing and directing the mayor, parentheses, quote, authorized representative in both close parens, of the City of Jenkins, parens, quote, entity, close parens, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by CED to carry out this project, and authorizing the authorized representatives to act as the authorized correspondent for the project, permitting review and execution of all agreements and request of all disbursements related to the grant program of 2024, whereas the entity desires to promote and carry out community development efforts on behalf of the residents of Letcher County, parens, Polk County, close parens, by supporting the grant program of 2024 projects. And whereas the entity is submitting or has submitted an application for the following grant program, Appalachian Regional Commission, with the intent to access federal grant resources that are in the public interest and for a public purpose, may seek funding assistance in preparing or completing applications for federal resources. Whereas it is recognized that the grant program of 2024 money is available to the entity for the purpose stated herein pursuant to KRS 147A.150, 147A.166 imposes certain obligations and responsibilities upon the entity and will be required, among other things, parens 1, approval of a satisfactory application submitted to CED for approval, parens 2, proper registration to do business within the Commonwealth, and parens 3, other obligations of the entity in connection with receiving the grant program of 2024 monies for the purposes stated herein. Now therefore be it resolved on the 7th day of November 2024 by the City of Jenkins that a grant program of 2024 application on behalf of the entity for grant program 2024 monies up to $30,845 for the Jenkins I&I project shall be submitted to CED. The entity shall provide such additional information and furnish such documentation as be required, and the authorized representative shall act as the authorized correspondent for this project. As of this 11th day of November 2024, motion made and seconded by the record, signed by the mayor and station city clerk.
All right, that's resolution 11-11-24.
Make a motion to pass that resolution.
I'll second. All right, having a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that's the resolution portion of that program. Boys basketball roadblock request.
I'll make a motion to thank them for that day. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. All right, motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. December meeting date, it follows right up against Thanksgiving is right up against the weekend, so Thursday, Friday off, and for everybody to get their stuff together, all reports and stuff, need to move that meeting till what Monday we want.
I guess that's the one after that.
Following Monday.
Can't do the second Monday? I have a meeting on the now.
The ninth is the second Monday.
Oh, okay.
December the ninth.
Yeah, I just need a motion to move our next regular meeting to the ninth, so we make a motion, so we can count the regular meeting.
Second.
All right, have a motion second, all in favor say aye. All right. The letter that, Randall. What's she make
Before the letter from the mayor, which is by statute that certifies that the lot in Rocky Hollow called the Lizzie Mullins tract is owned by the city by right of condemnation. And the mayor is making a recommendation that the city, or the mayor is declaring the interest that has this property sold by private sale, and would ask the council to waive the public sale requirement, given that's in the best interest of the city, and that the expectation is we'll get more money by the private sale. This is typically, we have done this many times before. This is no different than the previous letters, and yes, reading you all kind of in the process.
Any more questions or entertaining a motion to approve the sale?
Or is it one or two, because there's two, there's lot 8 and 9, is that one track?
Yes,
It's on one piece.
that's one thing.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All right, have a motion second, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, same sign. All right, we'll wait on council, we'll go ahead and get citizen concerns going. Before we get started, remember like last time, everybody gets 3 minutes, we'll stand up, give your name and where you live, or what part of town, where you're from. Also a reminder, I mean, we can't hold court tonight, we can bring up concerns, things going on, if there's anything specific to police officer, we have ways of handling that through the police commission, so if it's specific about a specific thing that's maybe lead to that, so think about that and do a statement, and we can take it to the police commission and work through that. But actually, if you want to, go ahead.
I'm Ashley, and I live in Rocky Hollow. So, altercation between me, our dog, Jenkins. On Thursday, October 31st, Halloween, around 3:25, I came home from picking my son up, and Johnny Tennell took 2 children from the bus stop at school. We have an automatic gate opener to get into our property, which is completely fenced in. I pressed the gate key, and I was waiting patiently, as shown on my security cameras. As the gate opened, she saw a roaming chicken, which you can see on the ordinance, that's owned by Johnny Tennell. It was on the city driveway, which is approximately 2 feet from my driveway. She began to chase the chicken. My neighbor pulled out a silver handgun from his vehicle where he was standing. Cried out and ran off. He continued to shoot. And my mom rushed to help me. My mom confronted him on the driveway. He began to cuss and walk towards her with the handgun in his possession. My 6-year-old Grayson and I were scared for her safety. The police were called at 3:29. Officer Jim Stevens arrived around 3:42. He walked down to where we were with Milo. I told him Johnny shot my dog. My son Grayson was hysterical. Jim Stevens told him to take his 2-year-old brother and sit in the vehicle. Jim left to talk to Johnny while we loaded our dog into the vehicle. As I was leaving, Jim had Johnny in handcuffs but failed to tell us what he was being arrested for. He said we needed to wait or saw he was arrested for failure to appear on a warrant and was immediately arrested from jail. Since then, nothing has been done, and we're scared for our safety in our home. I would like to add, before this, there's been numerous complaints to the city and Officer Jim Stevens about this event and other events, and nothing's been done.
Okay.
And
Anybody got anything? What we're talking about?
Johnny told me that Jim, I said, come on, you girl. Tommy told me when I approached him, and I said, "Are you proud of yourself for what you did to these guys?" He said, "Well, what about my GD chickens?" And I said, "Well, the police is on the way." He said, "That's fine." He's what told me to shoot it.
Anybody else have anything else with this? Yes, please, and if you just tell us who you are that way.
My name is Fern Caffey, and I'm briefly gonna, run on what Ashley said, but I've already prepared my statement, so I'm gonna read it in full. I'm here today to speak on behalf of my friend regarding a troubling incident involving her dog and a neighbor, Johnny Tittle, that occurred on October 31st. Responsible pet owner, and her dog Nyla was always kept within a fenced area and has never been known to be aggressive or unruly to anything or anyone. This incident, however, has raised serious concerns about safety, fairness, and law enforcement responses. Considering Ashley and her family are dedicated members of our community and her commitment to this town runs deep, clearly, as her husband currently resides on the city council, following in the footsteps of her dad. On the day in question, Nyla had briefly chased a chicken that legally shouldn't be in city limits and that had wandered onto my friend's property. In response, the neighbor, Mr. Tennell, reportedly discharged a firearm, striking Nyla multiple times. My friend and her family, including her young children, witnessed this event and were ultimately all in harm's way with an untrained marksman shooting in their direction, which has left them completely shaken and heartbroken. The decision to use a firearm felt very extreme and completely unnecessary. The officer who responded to the scene, Officer Jim Stevens, initially acted with apparent certainty, but it's concerning that he subsequently sought confirmation from the county prosecutor and county attorney to verify his actions right after the incident, as he mentioned in the last city council meeting. This raises questions about the appropriateness of the response as well as the level of consideration. I urge the council to look into the detailed case, review the actions of local law enforcement, and please consider broader community impact. This incident has left my friend and her family feeling completely unsafe and unheard, and I hope that today's discussion can lead to a fair and thoughtful resolution, because this family deserves to feel safe and supported in the community that they've served and lived in for so long.
Anybody else have anything with the Rocky Hollow?
I do. I live on the other side, right across the street from Johnny Tennell. Elizabeth Jones. And I brought pictures. I bought Lige Johnson's property after he passed away. And Johnny has taken over exactly half of my property, Lige's property. I know it's a civil matter, but when I bought the property, there was a letter from a lawyer who did the sale, who sent him a letter, Johnny, that said he had 30 days to remove everything off of my property, or it would just be defaulted to the new owner. He ripped it up and cussed and carried on when he got it out in front of the house, and nothing's ever been moved. And his dogs, he has 3 dogs, and my son has been bitten 3 or 4 times by these dogs when we first moved in. Nothing was ever done about it. The dogs, right after this incident, hit his little girl in the face. And the dog, there have been social workers out there, there have been dog wardens out there, there have been police out there. They told him he had to quarantine his dog and left it to him to quarantine. We have videos and pictures the whole time. The dog was never put in the house. It's never been in quarantine, never had shots. I might be the next one. And we live in this day in and day out with Johnson. And, I don't think it's fair that every time we call the police, Jim Stevens gives us all the big story. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he has proof that he takes care of animals and he takes care of his kids. We get the riot act read to us every time, and he never even investigates. He doesn't do anything. And so, would you like to see the pictures?
If you want to share them.
Okay. And I also brought these pictures because one of them shows where the city street comes down to a dead end to my property to the right, and he has a gate and a driveway to his left, to the left of these pictures. And so you all can look at them. The one with the swimming pool is his yard. The one with the big houseboat, that's all his stuff that's on my property. So he has a driveway. As you come down that city street, he's supposed to be turning left to go into his driveway, but he's got that gate shut there, and he keeps his yard all nice and clean for his, well, I don't know about clean, but keeps it open for his kids, you know, all their stuff. While, you know, me and my children don't have any yard, we don't have any place. He just takes it over. And then he took over the other property on the backside of the graveyard. He's built an entire structure over there, a big chicken coop, and these chickens have been roaming the neighborhood for the last year. This is not something that just happened. These chickens have been wild for a year. So that's all I got to say.
Is that the council's copy?
Yes, I've got more copies too.
This where the swimming pool is that on the right-hand side on your side?
That's his.
So this houseboat is on your property?
Yeah, the houseboat and all that junk.
Been more than 30 days, right?
Yeah, I've lived there for a year.
That's your house.
If I do anything, though, I'm afraid.
Anybody else with property?
Well, actually, I don't think anybody can be sympathetic to what happened to you guys. I don't think there's nobody sitting here that can't say that shouldn't happen. But, I would like to make a motion that we refer it to the chair. To take over.
I've got a question, it's not really related to Rocky Hall. My name's Alicia Congleton and I live in Camden. I just have a question for the city council. Is Jenkins still a class 4 city?
There's no more classes.
There's not any more classes.
Okay.
It's just Lexington, Louisville, and everybody else.
Okay.
It's based on that, whatever you break it up may be.
Well, never mind all that. The other thing is this thing here that you guys have listed as a police report. This is not a police report. This is probably a memo that, you know, the police officer wrote to the city council. A police report should be written on an e-nibris. And my question is, normally you have 7 to 10 days to have that submitted, transmitted. Do you know if that's been turned in by the city, the officer that responded to that?
That's what we've been providing.
Okay, this is not a police report, this is a memo, and, so that can't be changed, because once those are submitted, and then it's transmitted, but this is not a police report. I've never in my life saw a police report that had only one side of the story, and that's the alleged perpetrator side of the story. No victim, like the person that called 911 for help, and the reason I asked about the 24/7, or the class 4 city is because, you know, I've always been told, class 4 city, we're supposed to have 24/7 protection in this city. You know, that's what we all signed up for and paid for, but we're not getting that. You know, I was driving home from work the other day, and I heard somebody up in Dunham call 911. She reported that, her neighbor was in their yard screaming for help. The police never come, there was no police. And then I think, come to find out, it was a guy running naked up and down Dunham. Like, again, no city police responded to that. And my other question is, I think it's very convenient that the person we're talking about here has took a 3-week vacation. Now, any department that I've ever heard of, you have to request that time off. And I understand, like, look, if he's got it, he deserves it. But I thought it was very convenient to leave the city policeless for 3 weeks. Now, I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's my thing. But I just want the people to know this is not a police report. A police report is written on a Kentucky Nitrous, and this is not what this is. And that might not even be public record, but I would be curious to know if one of those have been done.
Yeah, and that was a memo provided to council for the meeting last.
But this is not a police report, and that was what was on the agenda. We called it a police report. That's not a police report. Thank you.
Just going back,
No, the police report on this agenda is what he normally gives every month, not specific to this incident.
I'd be curious to see if there was a, and another thing, she's requested to review the body cam footage. Never been seen that. And I think she was told that he had to approve that. Where's the accountability there?
He doesn't have to approve it. It goes to the intrinsic side for evidence, that way everything can be involved with. The only one before that was Jim to get it down, so Mikey is working to get it down. So we had a holiday, we had another holiday, and then we they left a message with him last Friday, so that part time, because we want to see it too. It's just not available because not everybody can just download it and have access. And then the coverage, before he left, we worked with coverage between state police, Neon's helping, and somebody should be coming.
Well,
If they call 911, somebody should be on.
2 hours is too long to wait when you live in a city limits and you have police, you're supposed to have a police department.
and honestly.
Or not at all.
And this is not, I understand, at least I don't understand what you're saying.
I think we should hire her for one.
Here's the thing that you gotta look at though.
She don't want
We
it.
don't have 300 to 400 people lining up to be a cop in Jenkins. We don't have it. I wish, and trust me, I'm all for law enforcement, I'm all for everything. But there's not 100 people lined up putting in applications every day to be a cop in Jenkins.
Can I say one more thing just to follow you up on that? Most people know me. I've been a police officer 13 to 14 years. I was laid off after the last sheriff election because I didn't have, obviously I didn't see eye to eye with the last person. And I'm not gonna say his name because he murdered our district judge. I inquired about a job here to help my community and to help my city. And you know what I was told? Well, we have to check with Mickey, because, he might not come and even help you if you're in trouble because he didn't like me. Now, what kind of now, thank God that didn't work out. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Amen.
But there has been qualified people that has inquired about jobs here.
And I'm sure they have, but I think we can all start to say, I've not seen a whole applicant of what we need. So,
That's not how it works here. You don't put an application in if it won't do you any good.
That's right.
Well, we discuss people working here, but, whether or not we hire them is one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's just how things go. Some people put in, you don't get hired, some do get hired. But
Some don't stay after they're out.
some don't stay.
We seem to be the sponsor ground for everybody else.
We've trained
Everybody that goes somewhere else.
people that left as soon as they can.
And we have to change that. I'm not here trying
No.
to browbeat you all. It's not your all's fault. Well, at some point, but we have got to do something to make people want to come here.
And it's hard, and you know this, Pikeville pays $20-some an hour, whatever, and if you can go to the academy and work here a few years, and Pikeville comes along and says, I'll double, triple your salary. Any young man, young woman, of course, I would tell anybody, go better yourself, don't stay in one spot, you can better yourself, go. But that's the problem you run into, you send these people to the academies, they sign on a 2-year contract, they do their 2 years, and then when it comes up, another police department says, look, I'm gonna double your salary if you'll come and leave. And and it's hard to retain people. So you really get, you don't get a lot of people that you can pick from. And trust me, we're trying. It's just, we had one officer now just left. He left the sheriff's department. So, it's just one of those things that's
Before Academy Day.
But going back to your point, Ashley, go ahead.
Well, Councilman, you have a motion on the table.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I want to speak to that motion, if you're up on
Yes,
for it.
yes.
The motion for a referral to the sheriff simply means that we'll take our criminal file, whatever it is, this file is still open. as a criminal investigation. And the mayor will sign a letter asking the sheriff to assume the investigatory responsibility for seeing if there is a crime, and if it should go to the county attorney or go to the grand jury. So that's the nature of the referral for the council's education. So the motion's on the table.
All right, motion on the floor, do I get a second? A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Can he refuse to do it though?
That's our next step.
We don't know.
That's our next step.
Because he's not involved in the Jenkins business.
One of the things that I think we should point out, the council does not get involved in investigations. It's not part of our role. We're like taxes and things. When it comes to the police department, the mayor handle that. We do not hire and fire. We can't have that authority. So we can do make recommendations. And we have recommended to try to get more police on staff. We made that recommendation. And in the past, and they're trying, like he said, trying to get people here. And in my personal opinion, I think this investigation needs to be continued. Whatever matter it needs to be continued, but it needs to be continued because there's more evidence than what's in this little report.
And actually, we are afraid now down there with him there. We really are.
And Jim left, and after he took this vacation, went up to the gas station to let him know he wasn't going to be around for 3 weeks, and said that Mayor Todd DePriest told him to take his body cam with him. That's what he went up there and told. That's not right. I mean, that's not right that him go up there and tell something like that.
No, I know that, and that's part of why we're here.
I want to add this too. Jim has been at our house probably 15 times in the past week, and here's a lot for Sabrina's arrest. And he, you know, that's, if he sees her, he's supposed to have her in custody. And that could be the best thing that happens for those kids.
I had a question. Do we have a police commission?
Use applications and try to make recommendations on that. And try to get through what we're trying to get through right here.
I didn't know if we had one still or.
They've been 1 year ago, but they either passed away or moved on. So, yeah.
Are the council members privy to know there was a legitimate, police report filed? She mentioned that if it doesn't get filed within 7 to 10 days, then it.
Let me correct myself. That's normally departmental policy, but you should have that policy. Like, there should be like responding to a complaint involving a felony accusation. There should be a Kentucky
So
Neighbors
if he
report.
didn't file his legitimate police report before his 3-week vacation, it still will go through.
They'd be part of the sheriff's investigation.
I just want to say one more thing, too. When he was taken to jail on that failure to appear, Jim sat outside the jail and waited until he was released and gave him a ride back home. That's not really usually done.
We don't know that as a fact, but if you have more information, put that in the statement. We're picking through a lot of pieces here.
I think you should have written rest of her for her.
Mm-hmm.
When you present this to the sheriff for an investigation, what materials is the sheriff going to receive? Or for a review of the case, what will they
The body
receive?
cam footage was his down number, and what's in this report, and if there was another report that I found something.
And this report, you mean the Jim's report?
Well, the memo,
The memo.
you probably
about
should
it,
call it, but, yeah, just to clarify again too, police report on the agenda's on every month, that is for him to get his, we so many arrests and whatever stuff, so it wasn't.
It's the report to the city council,
Yeah.
not on. Will the, Ms. Gibbs, a statement be
Yeah.
presented as well to the
Yeah,
sheriff?
he will, he should contact her for further.
I see.
So,
A
that's,
proper investigation would,
yeah,
sorry, yeah.
our process now is to do this, to hand it off, because involved. But this can open it up for him to be able to do it, if he's willing to do it, working with the county attorney. So, but
So there's one more, I think, point to be made, is that there used to be a process in Letcher County where you could go to the county attorney and press charges against something. And I understand in September, we received a letter from Jamie Hatton that they no longer do that. So that takes off the table one option. But, you know, people, sometimes when not satisfied with the police, they can go straight to the county attorney and press charges. Well, they can't do that now. I don't know why that was done, but that's beyond our control here. But that's something that recently came up.
it's something different. This has been a perfect storm with a lot of bad issues. Chicken hadn't been there, the dog wasn't there, just all kinds of stuff. One piece would have not took care of everything, but it may not been the outcome we got, but did we pass the? Yeah. Okay, I'll make sure we got that done.
Who could she go to? I mean, besides she's talking to a lawyer, but I mean, nobody in Whitesburg will hear her because Jim talked to him first?
Randall, you wanna take that?
If I had a good answer, I would give it, but with the fact that you cannot go to the county attorney anymore to seek a warrant, is a path into the courthouse that's been closed. And I don't know if they've come up with an alternate system or not, because otherwise, you would have to go to the grand jury and present a case if it was a felony or a misdemeanors. So,
But that possibly be the next step if this doesn't.
that
work.
may well
I
be
feel
the
like
next
this
step
is gonna
here,
get somewhere.
but it's a problem for a lot of people that you cannot.
And her attorney should be able to advise her on all that stuff, so.
All I'm gonna say is, he's going back in Facebook posts, pretty much saying he's gonna kill me. And I can't get any kind of protection order because there's no police investigation or report.
Have you got that printed? You got proof of that?
I've seen videos.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim's 3 weeks off is giving him 3 weeks to potentially kill me.
Well, I would contact St. Louis and say, if there's something else.
I mean, it's getting scary when he posted some videos about, you F with me, I'm gonna F you a lot worse, and yay neighbor at the end of it. So I mean, we're living there where he could turn out and shoot any of us.
I hate we're here, but we're going through our process to get to the next steps and hopefully straighten up life. Anybody else got anything? Joanne, you wanna talk about the Christmas parade?
Yes, I will. Okay, Joanne Baldwin, I'm with the Jenkins State Committee, and our Christmas parade is December the 7th at 5. If you want to participate, call me, 832-4835, and give April a break, because everybody calls April. Okay,
Hardest
we started
working
at
woman in
4:30
Jenkins.
at the library, and ending in the park. Our theme this year is Christmas in the park, okay? There'll be cash prizes for first and second floor float. We already have 2 entries on that, and side-by-sides. Decorate your side-by-side, let people see your Christmas spirit. Okay, Santa will be on stage with a treat bag, loves and toboggans for the children, and some toys was donated by Roy at the dollar store over here. And, we're trying to get some more and everything, so we'll have enough. Usually we have around 200 and everything, kids that come through to see Santa. There'll be pizza by Kiwanis, hot chocolate by Bird Eye Ladies Auxiliary, popcorn by the committee, and attending performances is going to be the Jenkins Fire Department and police. They're always in the parade. And Bird Eye Elementary Dance Cats. That's Kayla Edwards is the coach, and Bobby Polly. Silver Spinners will be here by Bonnie Kinzer and Opal Sexton. Shriners and Masons said that they would have 10 to 20 cars in. They're gonna bring in cars, and Tony Potter's gonna help them. And Marshall of the Fire Department dog, and Pizza Plus will be there. They always come. They called me from Knoxville main office. They always call. And we'd like for people to come to the park. We're gonna decorate the stage and they can come anytime, we'll have it and have the tree. We're gonna ask the kids down at Verdine or anybody that wants to come and put an ornament on it and let the kids come and, you know, decorate their city tree and take pictures. We had talked with the mayor, and I think Robin's going to get like a fireplace, and we're gonna have a rocker and have the Christmas tree, so if people want to come and take family pictures there, they can. And we're gonna try to get an nativity scene to put in the middle of the park. If anybody has any ideas, just let us know. If you wanna help do anything, let us know. Come to the parade and pray that it doesn't rain or, snow's okay, but we don't want it to rain. And if it doesn't work out that way, we'll be at the fire department like we used to. But we're gonna try to get a thing, you know, Christmas in the park all the time and work with that. If anybody's got any questions,
You guys do a great job with that. I don't know if anybody did, but you do a great job with what you do.
They do.
there are only 5 of us.
Yeah, I know,
you
that's
know.
gonna say you guys do great.
And I think our youngest one's around 50-something, and we're not gonna tell how old the rest of us are. So, but we like to do this for the kids.
Do you do a countdown, with all the kids and then light the tree, like a tree
Yeah.
lighting ceremony?
Well, we was gonna do that last year, but there was a medical emergency with somebody. The mayor was supposed, you know,
Do
to
like
do
countdown
that.
and then light the tree?
Yeah, we're gonna do that too.
Brandon and Spit and the cameraman was not excited about getting his camera.
But like I say, we're gonna try to just keep adding to it every year or two, you know, maybe like every year buy pieces and everything, and then just keep that and make it really big and make it fantastic. Last year, we had the tree out here, and there was a man, and he had 2 small children, and we were walking to go to the fire department, and we were behind them. They had just moved here, and the little girl, there was a red parrot with mittens on the tree. You know, we put mittens and toboggans on the tree that anybody could come and get them anytime. And she said, "Can I have that, Daddy?" And he said, "No." And we said, "Yes, get her toboggan glove." Those kids didn't even have a coat on. So what you do, you never know how somebody may.
That's
really
right.
need that to be done for somebody else. Have a Merry Christmas, see you at the parade, ladies.
And along those lines,
Decorate your dogs up. Put them on.
April and Jenkins and Robin, they decorated, and the council, our festival committee come over. So we had a real good, safe night, and the park, I think, was really good. Binky strung the lights, a lot of people get involved, and I'm probably missed one of them, and I'm sorry, whoever it is, I guess, but, get involved, you know, after the fact, people say, well, I'd like to have this, get involved. Come build a float with your organization. So if you got a side by side, put some lights on it, but don't scream through town back and forth like some of them, so.
We meet every second Tuesday at 6 here at City Hall in this room right here. If you want to come, everybody, anybody, you know, is invited to join and help us. The pay is not too good, which is 0, but
Any more citizen concerns before we go on to the council? Hearing none, but if you come up with something, that's all right too. Council got anything to do? We've already talked about working on. Already, pretty much, we're working on stuff. I wish this got resolved a lot sooner. But there's processes and things we have to do to make it right and fix it right. So we're working on those things. Already, I'll entertain that other motion.
I'll make that motion.
Already have a motion, turn second, all those in favor, say aye. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, you are.